is. I mean, coming up here, we got the World Series. The Diamondbacks are in the World Series, Lee. What happened to this season?
Go ahead. You can just pile on. Just be belligerent. That's okay. No problem. This guy's been talking about Arizona for a couple of weeks. Rangers, Diamondbacks. Wild Card World Series. Who could have ever imagined that? You got the Grand Canyon versus the Longhorn State. You got baseball free agency versus baseball's farm system. You got Texas that lost 101 a couple of years ago and spent $513 million in 2 years, and they're in the World Series.
Amazing.
Got Arizona, which lost 110 2 years ago. Rebuilt their farm system. They all kind of arrived collectively together. They got good together. Add into the equation, they made a couple of significant trades that kind of changed the makeup of the Diamondbacks. I can't believe these are the two that are playing. El Bombi, Adolis Garcia, released twice. He's not a rookie. He's 30.
Really?
A lot of people forget that.
Wow.
Yeah, he was DFA'd a couple of times, including once by Texas. But El Bombi hitting .327 in the postseason, 7 homers, 20 ribbies, climbing walls and taking home run balls back into the yard, getting beamed and creating incidents at home plate, and strutting around the bases, infuriating people because he hits home runs. But it's just not Garcia. Corey Seager, .323 in postseason after hitting .350 in the regular season. And I don't think Texas believes what they're getting from this kid outfielder, Evan Carter. He's hitting .308. There's another guy that's really had a hot second half and a pretty good playoffs. Minnesota got rid of him, Mitch Garver. He's hitting .294 in a wide variety of roles, catching, DHing just a little bit. Texas, 22 home runs in 12 games. They do crank it. And think about this. These guys have gotten to the World Series having lost Jacob deGrom right out of the gate in spring training and going a large chunk of the front end of the season without Nathan Eovaldi, the free agent who came, the ex-Red Sox guy. Now, Eovaldi's gotten healthy. The Texas is just, that's a complete baseball team, and they do rake. And then you got Arizona. Arizona's kitty core roster. We talked in spring training. Watch Corbin Carroll. Well, he's hitting .295 in postseason. Gabe Moreno, the catcher, hitting .279. Ketel Marte. This guy is really unsung. He's hitting .358 in postseason. And then they have the guy that shows up on the odd occasion and does something. Christian Walker, Tommy Pham, the ex-Blue Jay Lourdes Gurriel, Zach Gallen, the ace of the staff. I'm surprised that the guy that came from Japan, Merrill Kelly, has really evolved into a really good starting pitcher because I didn't think he had it in him. I thought he was just kind of a journeyman. And this young guy, Brandon Pfaadt, man, oh man, has he pitched well in postseason. And they're 3 deep in the bullpen. And they made the trade at the deadline to get Paul Sewald. And boy, has he done a job for them. I mean, that's a really good Arizona team with kind of a cross-section of young baseball players. So we got free agent baseball versus farm system baseball. You got the Grand Canyon State against the Longhorn State, Texas, Arizona. I think the Rangers are going to beat them, but it's going to be a fun series. And John from left field calling in says,
well, this is going to be really interesting. I mean, never would have expected these two teams to be the ones that survived. But I'm kind of pushing here for Arizona. I mean, it's kind of the Cinderella story for these kids. We're only 2 games better than the Padres in the regular season. So, and I tell you, I've had this love-hate relationship with Tommy Pham, and Corbin Carroll's been really exciting. So they'll be fun to root for. But, going back to the Rangers, there's a lot of guys on that team I just didn't really know much about. Garcia was one of them. And so was Evan Carter. I was like, who is this guy? I've never heard of him. And he's batting 3rd for the Rangers. And yeah, he's pretty good. He can rake. He does a great job. Mitch Garver, another like New Mexico Lobo, and had a great, track record up, I think, with Minnesota.
Right.
And did really well up there. So clearly the Rangers should be favored here. But I'll tell you what, I'm all in on the Diamondbacks. If for nothing else, the NL West to have a representative there, and it's not the Dodgers, hey, why not the Diamondbacks?
Okay, fans forum, chat box is open. You picking Texas, you picking Arizona. Now let's pick up the conversation. The next question: who's like you and me watching the World Series on TV?
Yeah. Who's watching? Because it's going to be Arizona and Dallas, and there's all those big market teams that failed.